how did you know that this industry was worth investing your future into?
Sure. Well, let's start with so initially, I think before any of this happened, I went to like 3 or 4 industry conferences, right? Definitely the odd woman out. And like those conferences there's people chasing people who can spit out POs and stuff like that, right? So I wasn't like but I was like, okay, this is a really tight-knit industry. Like these people have this on lockdown. These relationships have been here for a really long time. And to be part of that, I'm going to have to do something really special. And I didn't know exactly what that was. It was obviously a little helpful having some of the connections like with you and the team and whatnot, and to expand that network a lot faster than any other new industry I would have gone into. But I'm a little bit of a destructive person, or disruptive. It depends on the day, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And I have constantly challenge the status quo, and like my folks will tell you to this day, right? There's a few premature gray hairs they got probably because of me. But I never wanted to settle with just like, this is how it is, and this is how we've done it, and this is how we're going to do it moving forward. And tying that into where I could add value, I was like, okay, so there's some really great people who they're on the struggle bus on maybe, X, Y, and Z, which is where I can come in and help and provide value. And then it's something new. And the way that Overwatch is going about it was disruptive. And I'm like, I really, really like that. You tie in my experience with the veteran piece, right? I was like, that's what I bring in to the table. And, the people side and developing people, like there was also, it wasn't just you identifying that, hey, our team needs something. There was also a huge appetite for it as well, right? It is like, I've gone into organizations where upper management has said, hey, my team needs this. You go get in front of that team and you can tell you are not welcome. They don't want it. They're stressed. You don't know all the problems that these people are going through. And a lot of times it's the leadership at the top that's a problem, right? And, but there was such an appetite for that. And I was like, okay, great. Not that I always need to feel welcomed or anything, but I'm looking at my odds of like, if I'm going to be able to be successful and get this team from those various points to where, the organization needs them to be. And I saw that. And so the industry itself is just like, it's limitless at this point, because we were talking about it's a blue sky. It's not defined. It's not mainstream. I'm not a mainstream person, right? And so I think it just fell into place in identifying some of the opportunities and gaps. We're talking about like the labor force and that gap there. I'm like, hey, well, I have something to add there. And we, obviously we have a passion around, helping transitioning veterans and whether that's they get into this industry, hopefully that's what we want, or just in general, we want them to be successful. And hopefully we can teach them, to avoid the mistakes that we made, right? Or if they do have those mistakes, they can clear up from them a lot faster than we did, right?
Yeah, I mean, this industry is starving for talent.
Yeah,
and you have veterans that we just talked to a good friend of mine yesterday, right?
Yeah.
He's a retiring Master Chief, 29 years on the pond, been a Cobb, accomplished everything you could accomplish in the military as a senior NCO.
Yeah.
His first real job in his life was the military. 29 years later, he's coming out, and it's the first time in his life that he's had to figure out what he's going to do with his own career instead of Uncle Sam telling him what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
There's so much anxiety that goes on to these veterans, even if they just did one tour and they're getting out. Most time, they're just going to go back to where they came from, or maybe they're going to go back to school, or maybe they're going to go work for an uncle or an aunt or a friend who got him a job back in somewhere. But the truth is, this industry didn't know how to recruit for people to come into it.